Nestled deep within the heart of Uttar Pradesh, far from the bustling cities and towns, lay the village of Nandpur. Surrounded by lush mango groves and emerald rice paddies, it was a place where life moved at a slower, more deliberate pace. The villagers, mostly farmers and artisans, lived in simple harmony with nature, their days marked by the rhythms of the seasons. Laughter echoed through the mud-brick lanes, carried on the warm breeze. The temple bells chimed, a comforting melody in the air. Nandpur was a village like many others, content in its isolation, yet blissfully unaware of the darkness that lurked beneath its tranquil facade. The heart of Nandpur was its ancient well. It was a source of life, its cool water quenching the thirst of man and beast alike. Women gathered there, their colourful saris a stark contrast to the weathered stone, exchanging stories as they filled their brass pots. Children, their laughter echoing, chased each other around the well, their tiny feet kicking up dust in the afternoon sun. Life in Nandpur was simple, yet it was rich with the ties that bind a community together. Then the rains failed. The monsoon season, usually a time of joyous celebration, arrived with a cruel twist of fate. The skies, once heavy with the promise of life-giving rain, remained stubbornly clear. Day after day the sun beat down with an unforgiving intensity, scorching the earth and baking the land. The once bountiful rice paddies transformed into cracked, barren fields. The mango trees, their leaves withered and brown, stood as silent sentinels to the unfolding disaster. The heart of Nandpur, the well, began to run dry. The water level, once high and brimming, dwindled with each passing day. Panic, like a silent predator, began to grip the hearts of the villagers. The laughter of children was replaced by the anxious whispers of adults. The elders, their faces etched with worry, held hushed meetings, their voices heavy with fear. They had seen hardship before, but nothing like this. This was a drought, unlike any other, a slow and agonizing death that threatened to consume them all. One evening, as the sun began its fiery descent, casting long shadows over the parched land, a figure appeared at the edge of Nandpur. It was a sadhu, a wandering holy man, his matted hair and beard framing a face etched with wisdom and time. He carried a simple wooden staff and a begging bowl, his bare feet dusty from his travels. The villagers, desperate for any glimmer of hope, gathered around the stranger, their eyes pleading for a miracle. The sadhu, his eyes reflecting the plight of the villagers, spoke in a voice that was both gentle and grave. He had sensed their desperation, he said, felt the pain of the parched land. He knew of their suffering, of their dwindling hopes. The villagers, their ears hanging on his every word, listened with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The sadhu, they believed, held the key to their salvation, but his words, when they came, offered not just hope, but a chilling ultimatum. The sadhu offered a solution, but it was a solution steeped in ancient magic and shrouded in darkness. He spoke of a malevolent entity, a jinn, that had taken residence in the abandoned temple at the edge of their village. This jinn, he claimed, controlled the rains, held their very fate in its ethereal hands. The price for its appeasement, for the life-giving rain, was a blood sacrifice. The villagers were horrified. The idea of a blood sacrifice was abhorrent to them, yet the alternative, the slow death of their village, was unthinkable. The village elders, their faces drawn and pale, debated long into the night. The fate of Nandpur rested on their decision. Finally, as the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, a decision was made. They would appease the jinn. They would make the sacrifice. The villagers, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and resignation, gathered at the abandoned temple. The air was heavy with the scent of incense and dread. The sadhu, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity, chanted ancient words, his voice echoing through the crumbling edifice. A young goat, its eyes wide with terror, was brought forward. It was a sacrifice born of desperation, a testament to the depths of their despair. The sacrifice was made. The very earth seemed to shudder, a low groan echoing through the valley. The skies, moments ago clear and blue, turned an ominous shade of grey, and then the rains came. Torrents of water cascaded from the heavens, drenching the parched land. The villagers, their faces a mix of relief and horror, looked to the skies, their hearts pounding in their chests. The rain brought life, but it also marked the beginning of their nightmare. For when the villagers returned to the village, a chilling discovery awaited them. The children of Nandpur, all of them, had vanished. Panic seized Nandpur. Mothers wailed for their missing children, their cries echoing through the empty lanes. Frantic searches were launched, every corner of the village scoured, but the children were nowhere to be found. They had vanished without a trace, swallowed whole by the night. The joy at the return of the rain was replaced by a bone-chilling fear. The sacrifice, they realized, had come at a terrible, unimaginable cost. The whispers began soon after. Villagers spoke of strange occurrences, shadows that moved in the night, disembodied laughter carried on the wind. Some claimed to have seen fleeting glimpses of their children, their eyes wide and vacant, at the edge of the forest or reflected in the now overflowing well. These sightings, whether real or imagined, fueled the growing terror that gripped Nandpur. The village, once a haven of peace and laughter, was now held captive to an unseen terror. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but the children of Nandpur were never found. The disappearances did not stop with the children. One by one, villagers began to vanish, swallowed by the shadows that seemed to grow longer with each passing night. The villagers, their nerves frayed, their spirits broken, began to desert their homes. They abandoned their fields, their belongings, their very lives, desperate to escape the curse that had befallen Nandpur. The once vibrant village, now eerily silent, stood as a grim testament to the price of their desperation. The mango groves, once a source of shade and sustenance, now loomed, their branches twisted and gnarled, like skeletal fingers reaching out to claim the living. The well, once a symbol of life, now stood as a silent, accusing eye reflecting the darkness that had seeped into the heart of Nandpur. Today, Nandpur stands deserted, a ghost village swallowed by time and legend. The houses, their mud walls crumbling, stand empty, their doorways gaping like vacant eyes. The fields lie fallow, reclaimed by nature, the once orderly rows of crops now overgrown with weeds. The temple, its stones blackened with age and neglect, stands at the edge of the village, a silent monument to the dark pact made within its crumbling walls. The well, its water stagnant and dark, reflects only the oppressive sky above. No laughter echoes through the deserted lanes, only the mournful sigh of the wind whistling through the crumbling structures. The mango trees, their branches heavy with fruit that will never be harvested, cast long, eerie shadows across the deserted paths. Nandpur is a place frozen in time, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic setting. Locals from surrounding villages speak of Nandpur in hushed tones, their voices lowered as if in fear of being overheard. They tell tales of strange lights seen emanating from the abandoned temple, of disembodied laughter carried on the wind, of shadowy figures glimpsed at the edge of the forest. Travelers are warned to avoid the village, to steer clear of the path that leads to the cursed well. Some dismiss the stories as mere superstition, the ramblings of a people clinging to ancient fears. Others, however, know better. They know that some places bear the scars of their past, that some wounds run too deep to ever truly heal. Nandpur is one such place, forever marked by the curse that was unleashed within its boundaries. It stands as a stark reminder that desperation can lead to dangerous bargains and that some prices are far too high to pay.